Let's talk about shame and how it ultimately prevents you from being yourself. Because you're afraid of being rejected for who you are when you drop the mask. So, how shame works is that when you expose certain parts of yourself, your body contracts and you kind of want to hide away. So you dim your light and you push yourself down, consciously or unconsciously. And ultimately, you're trying to protect yourself from being hurt. Because at some point in your life, when you were being yourself, fully expressed, really light in your spirit, someone didn't accept you. Someone pushed you down. Sometimes in a very subtle way, or in a very concrete and, So, what shame does with us is that it really prevents us from being ourselves fully, which creates this internal friction and contraction. And the antidote to shame is to expose those parts of yourself. To finally just be yourself and show yourself as you are, without performing, without trying to be anyone or anything for anyone else, but rather you start to meet yourself at where you're at. Instead of denying that you feel like you feel, you welcome it with love. And you let other people in on it. You let them see you, who you are without the mask. You let them in on how it is to be you right now. Sometimes you don't even need to name it, because it might be even more subtle than that. It's more that a feeling that you're going around with, that just where something just feels off, and you feel sad or a bit anxious or whatever it is, without any reason to it. It's just something that arises. And the thing is that you don't need to know what it means or where it comes from. That's actually not necessary. But what is necessary is that you become honest with yourself. And you meet yourself where you're at. How can you then meet yourself where you're at? What does that even look like? So imagine this part of yourself being a newborn baby. Depending on the mood of the baby, you interact with it differently, right? So if the baby's sad, you take it close to you, and you are nurturing it and are just calm and being there and letting it be sad for as long as it needs to, right? It's no use to trying to like get the baby out of the feeling that it's in. It's rather that you are meeting the baby where it's at. The same goes if the baby is like really curious and you start to joke around and you cuddle and you snuggle and all that stuff, right? And you do peekaboo and the baby laughs, right? That's another energy, right? So you're tuning into the baby and where it's at right now. And the same goes with this part of yourself, this stored shame within your body. You meet it as you would meet the baby. Not to take it anywhere, but rather to welcome it as it wants to be expressed and felt. And then you let people around you in on it as well. You go to the shame, or you go to that heaviness, or that expression that you think that you need to cover up. But instead of covering it up, you are taking the mask off. You're becoming real. And this is relatable. And this will make you feel even more included and seen than never before. Because people resonate with truth. So when you are true to yourself, people can feel that. It's nothing, that you need to logically find out. It's just something that you recognize, right? When someone is true, you can just feel it. Sometimes you may not notice when someone is fake, on the other hand, because we live in a society where a lot of people are going around with masks on, and they are pretending because they are afraid of being themselves, because at some point in their life they got rejected for being who they are. So therefore they pretend. And we are so used to living around people who are pretending. So it can be quite hard to catch sometimes when someone is pretending. But when someone is true, you just feel it. You don't need to question it. It's just like, yes, I felt that. I was moved by that. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being true. Thank you for just being vulnerable and raw in your humanness, right? That is what we all crave. And in order to get to that point within ourselves, where we can own ourselves even when it feels hard, or when the shame arises. It's about being more comfortable exposing ourselves time after time after time. And the more we become honest and expose what's real, when we let the shame breathe fresh air, we touch something real. And we come alive. Because we are no longer living in conflict with ourselves. Rather, we are touching something very human and very true within us. Where life becomes easy to live. Not this constant battle with ourselves. And it takes some time to adjust to this new way of being, where you are honest, where you first of all are turning inwards and you become receptive to these parts of yourself that you've been rejecting for years. Because at some point someone else did that. right? So turn to this part of yourself like you would with a newborn child and treat it with love and acceptance. And the more you practice tuning into your own internal weather and then meeting it as it wants to be met, and then express it outwardly with people around you, you will realize that the shame that you have carried was never yours. It was never about you. And that underneath your own judgments, your own shame, is just a pure expression of you that has nothing to do with shame at all. And the only reason you still carry this shame is because you're afraid of letting it into the light. But the moment you express it and let yourself be vulnerable and seen in it, something shifts. And from there, you simply let it go. Or rather, the letting go part is a byproduct of you embracing it and letting yourself be seen in it. So that was all I had for you today. If you resonated with this message, I upload new videos every single day. So I'll see you tomorrow if you're one of those people who enjoy what I have to share. Bye.